To be able to, for example, engrave, laser a photo in a medallion or glass, or sandblast a photo in a monument, this photo needs to be changed to two colors, namely black and white. The method to change a photo to two colors, black and white, is called binarization. EasyShine has a very advanced toolset just to do that. Let's select the bitmap on the worksheet and start the binarization dialog. Bitmap binarization. The first time you open this dialog, it will open with the default values, and the result in the preview will be not much different as when you have used the menu bitmap mode black and white. But we soon will change that. The binarization can be divided in four main groups: optimal, the simplest binarization method and also the only one that is suited for very rough materials like sandstone; rasterize, this binarization method is most suited for smooth surfaces and will also give the most realistic representation of a photo. This method is not suited for very rough materials due to the fact that the result is built with a very fine raster. Then we have halftone. This method is suitable for all kinds of materials and will give a reasonable representation of a photo depending on the halftone type you select. And finally, photo stencil. This method resembles the halftone binarization but with more control over the size of the raster. Let's use the rasterize method for this introduction. While the image doesn't look that bad with the default settings, it can look much better with a little effort. First, let's check the cleanup pass. This will remove the noise on the side of the bitmap. Now let's crank up the line strength. That will give the binarization some more detail. This will do. Next we have to change the levels to get some more white point in the dark areas. This will make the image more uniform. A little darker. Change this one to about, let's say, this value. Now we get some white point in the black. And also let's change this one to get a better, more even result. The best thing about the EasyShine binarization is you don't even have to know what every setting does. Just fiddle around with the sliders till the result looks good. This means a zero learning curve. I think the last thing we have to do is change the contrast and brightness. Let's crank up the contrast and a little brightness. This will do. I think this will do just fine. Now we press OK. Now we have a binarization bitmap that is ready to be handled by, for example, laser, sandblasting or any other process that needs a black and white bitmap as input. This is of course only the tip of the iceberg. Just have a look at the manual and play a little bit with this dialog. I think you will be pleasantly surprised by the ease of use. This was a rather small bitmap, the size one would use to laser it on a drinking glass, for example. Now let's see how this binarization handles itself with a very large bitmap. The bitmap on the worksheet is 2.5 meters by 1.5 meters. Let's zoom in one-on-one to see the detail. Bitmap. Zoom 100%. Now let's open the binarization dialog. Bitmap, binarization. As you can see, the last few settings are now the default settings. You can of course save these settings as a preset for processing similar bitmaps. But let's change to the optimal binarization method for this image. We crank up the line strength to give it more detail. We set the brightness and the contrast, I think, about back to around here. And we bring the gamma back to 80. Now let's press OK to accept the current settings. And we're already done. As you can see, the size of this bitmap is no problem for the binarization. I've prepared a mask for this bitmap, so let's place this bitmap in the mask. Go to the background, select arrange, masking, place a mask, and we place it in this mask. We will give the result an outline. This way we have a nice border around the dragon. If for example we want to export this design to a laser software, it is best practice to send a bitmap and not a combination of vector and bitmap. So with the design still selected, we choose the menu Edit Convert to Bitmap. So Edit Convert to Bitmap. We of course choose a monochrome bitmap and make sure anti-laced is off. When the conversion is done, there is only one very important step left. Because we changed the design in the monochrome bitmap, we've lost the binarization properties. These important properties can be assigned again by using the menu Bitmap Convert to Binarization. Simple as that. We can now use the special binarization export menu to export the binarization bitmap. Bitmap Export Binarization Bitmap. Using this menu instead of the normal export menu will ensure that the right filter is chosen and no extra unwanted conversions take place. The bitmap will be exported as is, a binarization bitmap.